If you want to learn how to make scrolling text like this in Ecamm Live, then watch this video. Hi, Gary Cruz with AmazeStudios.com, and if you're new to my channel, I make videos related to live streaming. Today, I'm going through a series of tips on how to create scrolling text like this in Ecamm Live. Let's go ahead and figure out how we can do that using Keynote. Now, sometimes I do my animations in Apple Motion, which is $49, but today we want to do it with something simple like Keynote because it's included with all Macs. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's open up Keynote. This is what I used before, but we'll go ahead and create this from scratch. So let me close this out, delete this, and make a new one. And I'll also go over here and delete that layer and delete that video. So we're just starting from brand new. So this is Keynote, and you get to choose a theme. And you want to make sure it's on wide 16:9. And I'm going to go ahead and select this white presentation. From here, I'm going to add a new slide. I'm going to make it blank and select the other slide that was there and press delete. And since I want to go ahead and frame the text in the right way, a really easy hack to do so is by taking a screenshot of your canvas here. So I'll do Shift Command 4, and you'll see that it becomes an arrow or crosshair. And I'll go ahead and select this. Let's say if I didn't get this perfect, I'll use the space bar to kind of move this around a bit to align it better. And I'll release the space bar and drag this all the way to the top left. And when you release, I'll take a screenshot. All right, now that we have our screenshot, I'll go back over to Keynote. And that screenshot should have been saved over to my desktop, and I see it right here. I'll just simply drag that right into my Keynote canvas and align it accordingly, and then drag this to fit up the screen. There we go. All right, now that we have a canvas to draw on, I'm going to go ahead and add a shape. Go to square, and by default it's a blue box, but we'll change that in a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and arrange this square to where I want it to be. That looks good. And on the right, go ahead and click on the color that you want. I want white. And let's turn down the opacity a bit, maybe to about 85. And the next thing I want to do is go ahead and add some text. So I have some text that you might want to use, or that I want to use. In your case, it could be donors or Patreon supporters, whatever the case may be. Let's go ahead and just grab this one. This happened to be donors for a school. And right now, Ecamm Live version 3.5 just added animated text going like a scrolling ticker, but it's only horizontal. So this is a really good way to get around that and use Keynote. So let's go ahead and paste that text right in here. And I want this a little bit bigger, and let's go ahead and double click this, select all, and sometimes it copies the font styles. Let's go ahead and make this consistently Arial. And then let's adjust the size to make this 30 points. Press tab out of there. And I'm going to center this. Click right out here and then click the text again to go ahead and move this around so that it's centered within this bar that I've created. Now I'm going to click on text again. And I'm going to go ahead and increase the spacing a bit. Actually, let's select all and then go to lines, and I'll increase this so that it looks good about right there. All right, now that you have the text at the right size and the right spacing, let's go ahead and animate this. Let's click on animate. Let's go ahead and add an effect. Go to move in, and you can see it moved right from left to right, but we want it to animate from bottom to top. And then let's click preview, and that's just way too fast because we're doing that whole section of text in 1 second. The only downfall is that you can only maximize this up to 60 seconds. So if we preview that, and that's not too bad actually. That's actually pretty good. I'm happy with the scrolling text speed. we want to take this, since we want to scroll all the way off the screen, we're going to have to drag this all the way up here. All right, so if you want to actually see beyond the canvas, let's go ahead and move this size of the canvas a little bit larger. So then we'll drag this all the way to right before it leaves. And there's some assist rulers that show up. This one's yellow, and that shows that it's centered. And I'll go ahead and release it right there. And then I don't need to preview it because I'm pretty happy with the speed. Now I'll go ahead and select my picture, press delete. Then I'll go to Format, Color Fill, and say No Fill. Now I can preview it one more time, click on play, and I'll click it once, and then it's going to animate. All right, that looks good to me. Click on Exit. All right, so that no fill is really important here, because what we're going to do is go to File, Export to, Movie, and then we'll select Custom, because it's going to default to 720p. You don't want any of these, because the custom one will have, we'll go ahead and put the 1080, oh, automatically, I'm sorry, 1920 by 1080. So once you put one there, it's keeping the 16 by 9 ratio. I'm going to select Apple ProRes 4444. And this is important. You want to select Export with transparent backgrounds. And this only applies when the slide background is set to no fill, which we have, and has transparency. Let's click on Next. And we'll call these sponsors. And click on Export. Now, what's really nice about Keynote compared to either Final Cut Pro or Apple Motion is that this renders relatively quickly. So once it renders this ProRes file, we should just be able to drag and drop it right onto my Ecamm canvas. All right. Now let's just move this out of the way here. And I've got it on my desktop. Let's drag the sponsors right over here. And so now we have scrolling text right on my video. So if this video was helpful for you, hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. I do tips and tricks on live streaming, and I'll be doing a series of Ecamm tips based off what I'm learning on what I need to do for my clients. So thanks for watching.
Yeah.